What's up, people? My name's Darksmoka. I'll be your host for this evening. Tonight I'm commentating over the P1RC Super Formula series. This is round 10, coming live from Nurburgring GP Track. This is the penultimate round in this series. The next round next week, track's been kept a secret. Nobody knows. Only baggy snails. So I've just started off. This is the car I'll be using for tomorrow's racing for the GTTCC. Evening, CJ. How you doing, brother? Hope your race went all right, mate. Yeah, so this is the car I'm using for the GTTCC. I'm not going to stay on it long because the quali's about to start. It's probably already started. So yeah, that's what I'm using. That's the livery. You'll see a bit more of it tomorrow night, maybe. I might come on a little bit early and show that off. I don't know whether to do quali or not tomorrow, but you will see at least 2 races. Whether they go well or not, I don't know. Not if CJ's got anything to do with it. Better stay out of my way. Only ribbing you, brother. Oh, okay, you were just commentating. Alright, mate. Right, so I'm going to jump out of this and let's dive into this lobby. So quite a full room at the minute. I don't know whether they're all P1 members. So yeah, you can see the Kika logos down the side and the handprints. That's all to do with the 6-hour charity race that's coming up. I'll chat a little bit more about that at the end of the race. Let's see who's entered tonight then. So rear wheel 72, West Ham Daz, Don Dotto, Rousey and Baba, Steve Scooby, Baggy Snails, Dory Dory, Big Les Kun, Dizzy AL3, Stewie Mac and Jar 72. So fair old bunch in the lobby. So we'll jump straight into the spectating. Let's put some stuff on for you guys. So first man out on track, Big Les Kun. We see him heading down towards Dunlop. So these Super Formula cars do have the overtake button, which is almost like the DRS curve system on the Formula 1s. So these are out laps. You won't see some fantastic times at the minute. Grabbing a big chunk of curb there, Big Les Kun. We'll just stay with him as he comes around these last couple of corners onto the start-finish straight. See what his outlap times are. So 2:01 for Big Les. So they are in teams, they are in pairs of in the teams. So you will see similar liveries, similar coloured liveries, or we'll just see Dory Dory getting it a bit wide onto the stones there. It's going to take him a long time to recover. So they are, yes, teamed in pairs, and colours depicting the pair. So Stewie Mac teamed up with Rousey and Baba, both in the ready orange. Dizzy teamed with Jarv. Baggy in the yellow. Teamed with somebody maybe not racing. So Raul Cien then putting in a 1:38.7, fastest lap so far. Dizzy currently holding second with a 1:39.3. Jarv in third with a 1:43. Baggy Snails in fourth with a 1:41.8. Big Les Kun not quite getting his second lap in yet. As he comes across the line for a 1:38.9, putting him in second at the minute. So Baggy Snails, Scooby with a 1:50.6. Stewie Mac, still yet to put a hot lap in. Dory also. And the same with the rest of the pack at the minute. So Dory 0.2 of a second up in his lap times at the minute. Big Les Club, the closest contender. So good to see a few guys in the lobby. Should make for some good racing tonight. Not exceedingly long this track, so even if the race does spread out a bit, there should be some action throughout. So Dizzy now taking second spot off Big Les with a 1:38.3. Jarv pushes himself up into fourth. Baggy now increasing his time, so he's 1:40.9 now for Baggy. So currently a 1:50 for Steve Scooby, 1:52 for West Ham Daz. 2:37 for a fastest for Dory. We did see him parking on the sand for a little picnic, I think. Rear wheel, so his fastest, a 1:59.2. So Dory's time was due to him parking on the grass. So Don Dotter still yet to put a lap in. Has only just come out of the pits. So now increasing his time, Raul, to a 1:37.9. Just letting Dizzy through. So half a second he's got over Dizzy at the minute. You will see them burning fuel off and probably diving into the pits for a fresh set of tyres. Try and increase that lap time, get a better position on the grid. See Raul there just keeping it first, full throttle, burn as much fuel off as possible. Rear wheels on the grass, spin those tyres up. Absolutely wasting fuel, but for good reasons. So yeah, coming in for a fresh set of tyres. Back out to the next man on track, Dizzy. Say half a second down at the minute from Raul. And if anyone was paying attention last week, I jumped into the chat after last week's race with the lads and just happened to mention that my mate Potter McPot, who you may or may not have seen race, he did race in the team versus team against P1. I did mention that he was pretty quick round Nurburgring. 20 minutes later, after I jumped off the chat, Potter was in the chat. He'd been called out by Raul, and a challenge had been laid down. So Potter and Raul, just jumped through to him here. Potter and Raul decided to go for a bit of a race around the Nurburg. The challenge was thrown down by Raul, and Potter McPot took the win. P1 boys weren't having that, so they've asked for a rematch, which apparently is next weekend, I think, Saturday next week. So I'm commentating over that as well. 7 guys from P1 and 7 guys from MRC in GR3 cars. I don't know which track. I'd have thought probably Nurburgring again. So keep your eyes open for that. That should be next Saturday, about the same time, about 9 o'clock. We'll see which one wins out of the teams. Will it be P1 or will it be MRC? I know these boys are quick in the Super Formula cars, which is what you're watching now. They did beat MRC in the team versus team event in the Super Formulas. But I know our guys, the MRC guys, like racing the GR3s. And if it's at the Berg, well, I know a lot of our guys like the Berg as well. So Dom Dotter in his second lap, jumping himself up into second, or just clapping into the back of who was that? Oh, they've gone. Yeah, so Dom Dotter putting in a good lap for his second lap, 1:38.1. Quarter of a second back from Raoul. A bit slower on that lap. He did get into a bit of contact with the car in front of him a second ago. So that's pushed Dizzy down into third. So they are using the Mercedes Arena tonight. That's just this extra little loop back on itself into the stadium, and then it comes back out here where the other GP track, the other version of the GP track, or the 24-hour track joins. So we'll just keep her on Dom Dotter, see if he can increase his lap time. He is under threat from Dizzy behind. If Dizzy can increase his lap time, he's only 2/100 of a second, 2/10 of a second back. He's got a bit of wear on his tyre though, has Dom Dotter, so he's getting purple sectors. I don't think he's close enough on this lap. He's sticking himself in the pits anyway. So Steve Scooby's dived into the pits as well, so the majority of the guys have done that. So yeah, the 24-hour track turns left just there where he's turned right, and it just rejoins just there right in front of him now. Brings you back out to that straight there. So Raoul's sticking in fastest sectors now, still currently holding fastest with the 1:37.9. Big Les Kun has closed that gap. He is 2/100 of a second behind him now. Again, another purple sector from Raoul. So half a tank of fuel. He's burned off a lot of his fuel. Set of tyres that are only a couple of laps old. Another purple. He's looking for like a good lap from Raoul here. Good to fend off the challenge for first place from Big Les Kun. Big Les Kun, Big Les Kun did just take the lead there for a second. He was with a 1:37.7, and then Raoul's instantly taking it back with a 1:37.5. So a good bit of driving from both Big Les Kun and Raoul. So a little bit back on his time, Big Les. a little bit back as well on for Raoul. So Raoul in first at the minute, Big Les in second, Don Dotter currently sitting in third, Dizzy in fourth, Dory in fifth, Jarv in sixth, Steve Scooby in seventh, Baggy Snails in eighth, West Ham Daz in 9th, Stewie Mac in 10th, and Rear Wheel Man 72 in 11th. As we just see him sticking a new set of shoes on as well. So we'll just keep an eye on Big Les Cunt, see what he can do. He's coming back in the pits. Another set of tyres. So tyre and fuel will play a part in tonight's race. Again, the guys being very respectful, staying out of the way on hot laps. As we see West Ham Daz just taking the outside line there. This is the section you don't see on the 24-hour, this little section here. And again, West Ham Daz getting it all over the place, he's on the grass. Steve Scooby looking to take advantage a little bit. Don Dotter now jumps up into first with a 1:37.3. Just under 2/10 quicker than Raoul. So we'll see Raoul's taking a slow lap this one. Again burning the fuel off. Fresh set of tyres. Like a fast lap this one, he'll just be taking his time around most of these corners until he comes around that last one onto the start finish straight. He just needs a good run out of that one really. Pack. AL3 currently in fourth. Dory in fifth. Steve Scooby currently in sixth. 1:39.5 for Steve Scooby. Jarv 72. He's just dropped a place there. Baggy Snails taking him. So West Ham Daz not looking like he's enjoying this track very much. With Stewie Mac. Rear Wheel Man just jumping up the order there. Was in 11th, now in 9th. So we'll just jump up to Raoul, who should be on a hot lap. We'll see what he can do when he comes across the line. Notice sector times. So he's a little bit down on his time at the minute, a quarter of a second. A couple more laps to give that a go, maybe one more. So no, 1:37.6 for that lap. So slower than his fastest. So I'll just run through the order again. Don Dotter currently in first with a 1:37.3. Raoul just behind him with a 1:37.5. Big Les Cunt just behind him with a 1:37.7. Dizzy again just behind him with a 1:37.7 also. Dory with a 1:38.9, he's in fifth. Rear wheel 72, he's in sixth place with 1:39.5. Steve Scooby with a 1:39.5. Baggy Snails with a 1:40.0. Jarv 72 with a 1:40.1. West Ham Daz with a fastest of 1:41.2. Stewie Max fastest, a 1:42.6. So not bad lap times around here. The front four really close, less than half a second. Only 1.55 seconds back to fifth place. So less than half a second for the first four. Just pulling over now. Qualifying's over. Just wait for room settings to be rejigged and we'll jump into the race. So current order is Raoul in first. He must have just on that last lap 1:36.9. Flipping neck Raoul. So a lot of time gained on that last lap. So he's in first place. Don Dotter in second. Big Les Cunt in third. Dizzy in fourth. Dory in fifth. Rear wheel 72 man in sixth. Steve Scooby in seventh. Baggy Snails in eighth. Jarv 72 in 9th, West Ham Daz in 11th, and Stewie Mac bringing up the back of the pack in 11th. So a couple of seconds to go. And we're in. So 11 drivers tonight. Raoul, the Don, Big Les, Dizzy, Dory, Rear Wheels, Scooby, Baggy Snails, Jarv. Missed the last two, West Ham Daz and Stewie Mac. So lights are on red. And they're off, and they're away. So poor start from West Rear Wheel Man 72, seemed to stall on the grid. Raoul Cien, he's got the Don Dotter on the inside of him. Not keeping his, not letting that go though. Raoul, he's kept his first place. Don Dotter in second. Big Les Cunt in third. Dory in fourth. Dizzy in fifth. Baggy Snails in sixth. Oh, we see Don Dotter just running a bit wide there. Guys keeping it tight through the first few corners. Just keep her on the pack. So quite tight down here. Jarv and Steve Scooby. Steve Scooby taking that place though. Go back up to the front, so Raoul's pulled out on nearly a second gap on Don Dotter. He's got Big Les Cunt right behind him. Just go a bit wide though, Big Les Cunt, giving Dory a look. Has closed the gap on him. So Don Dotter closing that gap a little bit to Raoul. Big Les Cunt now dropping off the back of Don Dotter. And he's got Dory all over the back of him. Got to be careful around this next couple of corners to the big long straights. And up to the Weedall chicane. So we do have to be careful on those curves. quite easily unsettle the car. So Don Dotter losing a small bit of time to Raoul. Raoul just setting the fastest lap off the grid there for 1:40.8. So one lap in. The order is Raoul in first, Don Dotter in second, Big Les Kun in third, Dory in fourth, Dizzy AL3 in fifth, Steve Scooby in sixth, being chased closely by Jarve 72. Baggy Snails not far behind them, with Stewie Mac in ninth, Rear Wheel 72 in 10th, and West Ham Daz in 11th. So back up to the fronts. And that gap coming down between these pair. Big Les Kun pulling that time back on them as well. So yeah, less than half a second now the gap. And they've dropped Les Kun a little bit. Almost a second back now, Les Kun. So a good bit of driving from these pair. That gap consistent, the Don Dotter. Well, trying to lose him out of the slipstream. Anything he can do to break the toe, break the gap. Don Dotter did have a think about the inside there, but a little bit too far back. But Raoul getting a poor run out of there, so Don Dotter going for a run down the inside. He's got the inside line, but not quite the speed to make it stick. So it was a good look, didn't quite make it. So now Don Dotter holding the fastest with 1:38.7. So again, Don Dotter throwing his nose in. Just trying to put Raoul off. Slightly different lines, these pair. So we'll just flick through the pack. Look out for some more action. So Dizzy and Dory pretty close. And Jarve and Steve Scooby also behind them. Steve Scooby right in the back of Jarve there. Oh, so Jarve running a bit wide. And Steve going for a look down the inside. Made a little bit of contact. Nothing too drastic though. So side by side down into Dunlop. Jarve keeping that place. He's run a bit wide though. Again, Steve Scooby, sorry, looking down the inside. And again, side by side, up into this next corner, again contact. So lucky to not knock it off track. Baggy Snails getting in the mix now. So getting a bit fighty between Jarve and Steve Scooby there. Nothing untoward, I wouldn't have thought. These guys race against each other every week, so like you can just get away with it. So again, Jarve getting a poor run out there. Steve Scooby getting a good pull up the hill. Looking like he's keeping the place. Baggy Snails going for a look down the inside as well. He might have that place done down the start-finish straight because he has got the inside line for the first corner. So Jarve 72, maybe losing 2 places here. So Baggy Snails has had to back out, allowing Jarve to keep that place. But Stewie Mac's come back on these 4 as well. Well, West Ham Daz having an absolute nightmare as we see him ghosting. Real Wheel Man 72, he's a fair old way back from that pack, so we'll just jump back up to the front. So just under a second now, Raoul from Dory, or just over a second, that's just jumped to. Losing a lot of time. Big Les Kun to this pair at the front. Don Dotter closing that gap on Raoul now. Dizzy's on the back of Big Les Kun. Big Les Kun holding 0.6 of a penalty as well. That's not going to help his fight against Dizzy. Dizzy may have the run down here with a bit of slipstream. So head up towards the chicane. Les Kun not going defensive. Just ghosting there, losing a bit of penalty. into the last corner onto the start-finish straight. So he's got to be careful, Big Les Cunt. That gap is coming down. Maybe not quick enough to go for the dive on this lap. Oh, he is. No. But they all have run wide. And that's brought Dory back into the fight. So he's right at the back of Dizzy now. So Dizzy's got to watch out from behind as well as trying to fight for the place off Big Les Cunt. I'll just jump back up to the front. So Raoul now pulling 1.5 seconds away from Don Dotter. This is where the fight is. Les Cunt still holding that penalty. Dizzy again closing him down into Dunlop. Head back up the hill. Schumacher S's. So again, Dory's right on this pair as well. Oh, so Big Les Cunt getting really wide there, getting some sand, allowing Dizzy to get through, losing a lot of speed as well, so he's got to watch out that Dory doesn't take the place off him as well. Dory looking down the outside into the chicane. Big Les Cunt running wide again, so Dory not quite managing to make that place up. But Big Les Cunt has now dropped his penalty. So Raoul 2.7 up from Don Dotter. I don't know if Don Dotter's just struggling a little bit or whether he's running off the track. Dizzy in third, now 2.1 up from Big Les Cunt. And he's got Dory chasing him still. So Dory will want to get past Big Les Cunt if they're losing time to Dizzy, which they are a little bit. Steve Scooby 6.3 seconds back from Dory. Baggy Snails 3.7 back from him. Stewie Mac, that's Raoul Sienna's partner, Sien Baba's partner. Teammate. He's got Real Wheelman 72 closing the gap on him. That's Stewie Mac. So West Ham Daz and Rear Wheel 72 man, obviously teammates, being both in greens. And then Jarve bringing up the rear. Was having a half decent race, was Jarve. Midway through the pack, jostling for positions. Now currently sitting 10 seconds back from 10th place man West Ham Daz. So that gap come down at the front. Don Dotter managing to close it to 1.7, now 1.8. So they are getting through those tyres pretty quick. Very similar in tyre wear. So Dizzy not managing, Dizzy AL3 not managing to make up a lot of time on Don Dotter, losing a little bit through there. Dory now 1.8 up from Big Les Cunt, who is closing that gap back down on him, and he's dropped Steve Scooby. Steve Scooby now 3.5 seconds, just over 3.5 seconds back. Snails in 7th. This is the man that knows which track next week is refusing to relinquish the details. Super secret, apparently. So Stewie Mac under pressure from Rear Wheel 72. Just keep your eye on this. Losing a little time through there. and gain a bit down the straight, so losing a lot of time through there. Rear wheel 72. Just getting it a bit wide, drifting that Super Formula car. So we'll just flick back up to the front. Gap staying very similar, 1.9 now between Don and Raul. Dizzy pulled that gap in a little bit to Don Dotter, under 3 seconds now. And the gap's still coming down. So Dory 6.5 seconds back from Dizzy. Flick through the pack, see what action we've got. A couple of close little battles, nothing quite nose to tail yet. So Raul now increasing that gap to Don Dotter, 2.8 seconds now the gap. Dotter may be struggling on those tyres now, losing a lot of time to Dizzy. It's 1.9 seconds back. So getting past Big Les Kun has done Dizzy and Dory the world of favours. So again that time coming down between Dory and Diz and Don Dotter. So 3.3 up now, Raul. See, they've all got their name printed down the sides of the cars. Just behind the rear wheel there. Sorry, just behind the front wheel, Steve Scooby 555. I do struggle to drive these cars myself. I've only had a couple of goes out in them. I prefer the GR4 and the GR3 cars myself. So Raul, first man in the pits. 3.2 second gap between him and Don Dotter. So Don in the pits as well as Dizzy. So we'll keep an eye out and see how they come out of the pit lane. See what fuel they take on board, whether they've done any fuel saving. So Big Les Kun with a little bit more fuel than Raul. So Dory decided to stay out, going for an extra lap. So Raul's come out into second place, 4.7 up from Baggy. So times are a bit all over the place. Dizzy managed to come out in 6th. Let's just jump back up to Raul. So Raul took on board no fuel, but a fresh set of tyres. That's why the gap's massive now between him and Don Dotter. Dizzy also missing out there, so Big Les Kun's managed to jump in front of Dizzy through that. So Dory currently holding first place, but he has got Raul Cien Baba closing him down. Dory does have to pit also, and carrying half a second penalty as well. So Baggy Snails decided to stay out as well. So the positions will all jostle back about when the guys who haven't pitted decide to pit. So Dizzy closing the gap on Big Les. Again, Big Les getting on the curves on that corner. So go through Coca-Cola now onto the start-finish straight. So Raoul still holding that fastest with 1:37.9. No one managing to beat that. That was his third lap for Raoul. So close that gap down to under a second now to Dory. Again, Dory does have to pit still. So this should be over in a heartbeat, really. Doing the decent thing and staying out of the way. And Raoul passed through there. Pulling away rapidly. Again, not the fight he's in. He's in the fight with Don Dotter, Big Les Cud and Dizzy. As he comes onto the what's that one called? Hudson. Oh, I can't even read it from here. Hudson Bexbogen, I think. I don't know what that means. I've not done the translations this week on that. So another fastest for Raoul Sienna with a 1:37.952. So Dory going for a long stint then. He does seem to be struggling on those tyres. Dotter, he is 15 seconds back from Raoul. So the pit strategy's not working out at the minute, but he is holding a lot more fuel than Raoul. Raoul does have to stop and take fuel on board as well. So that strategy will play out later on in the race. You'll see those gaps come down a little bit. Big Les Cud not far behind Don Dotter either. And then Dizzy AL3. He's only 17 seconds back from the front man, which would put him only 2.5 seconds back from Big Les Cud. Dory now in the pits. So Raoul Sienna taking back the lead. He'd already been in the lead, but lap before, apologies. So yeah, 14 seconds back for Don Dotter. Just under a second now to Big Les Cud. Dizzy 2.6 back from Big Les Cud as well now. Baggy Snails opting to stop out for another lap. Going for a real long stint is Baggy Snails. See if that pays off, whether he can gain any places later on. Just under 20 minutes left of this race. This is the penultimate round of the P1RC Super Formula series. This is round 10 from the Nurburgring. One more round next week. Unknown track. It's all super secret. Guy on screen now is the only bloke who seems to know, and he won't relinquish the information. turn him off and look at Raoul instead. So yeah, Raoul holding 16 seconds, and again another fastest lap, 1:36.965. So he's putting in some stormers, is Raoul, but he will have to pit and take on extra fuel and tyres as well. So that will slow his pit time down compared to the guys who've already taken on board fuel. So that will play out later on in the race. But if he can gain a bit of time, being the lesser weight now on the fresher tyres, that might benefit him later on. So Big Les Kuhn's closed the gap on Don Dotter, and Dizzy also closed the gap on Big Les Kuhn. So Big Les Kuhn obviously decided not to fuel up as well. So that's also not going to benefit him later on in the race. Might give Dizzy the opportunity to jump him in the pits. Don Dotter only 2 seconds up the road. Gap coming down slowly between Don Dotter and Raoul. So again, that gap coming down between Dizzy and Big Les Kuhn as well. Dizzy in fourth, right on the back end of Big Les Kuhn. Not close enough this lap, I don't think. As he goes for a Hail Mary down the inside. So Steve Scooby now in the pits, along with Baggy Snails. Both of them on, well, Scooby with no fuel, and Baggy with no tyres. So that will allow Rear Wheelman to jump this pair. Goes past Steve Scooby, still in the pits. Baggy Snail still in the pits. So Jar 72 in 8th, now in 9th due to Steve Scooby coming out the pits. He's managed to stay in front of I thought I saw Steve Scooby come out in front of him. So Jar managed to take those two out in the pits. Oh, it's Baggy Snails I got in front of him, apologies. That's right, Steve Scooby took on some fuel, didn't he? So that gap increasing for Raoul, 19 seconds now. The guy's taking loads of curb through that chicane. That gap coming down between Big Les and Don. Again, Dizzy keeping Big Les Kuhn in check as well. Still holding a little penalty as Big Les. He's got to be careful he doesn't lose that on the racing line. A wide line there for Big Les. Again, taking a very wide line there. It's almost eked out almost a second over Dizzy now. So that gap increasing slowly between Raoul and the Don. Nearly 20 seconds. So I would expect to see this lap, maybe next lap, Raoul diving into the pits. So he stuck it out for one more. Still holding that fastest lap of 1:36.9 for Raoul. So he increased that gap to over 20 seconds, has Raoul from the Don. 1.5 now the gap between him and Les Kun. And then big Les Kun gaining a bit more time over Dizzy, 1.3 seconds now over Dizzy. And lost a lot of his penalty. So a bit of work to do for Dizzy to get that time back off Big Les. So Dory sitting 22 seconds back, nearly 23 seconds back from Dizzy. Rear wheel 72, 10 seconds back from Dory. Baggy Snails 5 seconds back from rear wheel. Steve Scooby 7 seconds back from Baggy. Jar now jumping into the pits. Only 3 seconds behind Steve Scooby, but now in the pits. So Stewie taking that place. West Ham Dad's bringing up the rear. Seems to have finally got to grips with that car as West Ham does. So Raoul now in the pits. We'll see what the times look like when he comes back out. So Don Dotter just coming around the last corner now. Let's see if Raoul can get out in front of him. It's not looking like it. Dizzy also in the pits as well. So Don Dotter taking first spot. 11 minutes left of this race. We'll see if the guys can eke their fuel and tyres out to the end, or whether they need to do a quick splash and dash to the end. So Raoul on fresh rubber will be able to haul the time back out of Don Dotter. His tyres being a lot older than Raoul's. Big Les Kun will probably be in the pits this lap as well. It'll be a short race if he doesn't. So that might give Dizzy an opportunity. Fresh tyres, all the fuel he needs to go to the end of the race. Dory as well, probably going to the end of the race. So Big Les Kun's just got to watch out, he doesn't lose a couple of places here. See him head down through these corners up towards Weedle. Through the Hanson Becks. So Big Les Kun diving in the pits. Don Dotter in the pits as well, so looking for fresh rubber. So we'll keep an eye on these two, see where they come out. On the way back from the Don Dotter and Big Les. So both of them around the last corner. It has showed them both jump, but the guys are coming out of the pits. So Don Dotter keeping his second place, Dizzy now up into third. Big Les still in the pits, Dory taking that place as well, so Dory up into fourth. So strategy did come into play here for this race. So Big Les Kun coming out the pits in fifth. Fresh tyres and enough fuel to go to the end of the race. But a lot of work to do if he's looking to take any places back off the guys in front. 10.5 seconds back from Dory. As we just watch him taking a very tight line across the sand there, kicking up the dust. So Don Dotter 1.7 gap between himself and Dizzy. That gap coming down slowly. So Raoul keeping 17.5 second gap. It's looking good for him this race. As long as he keeps it clean, keeps it on track, he should have no reason not to win this race. That's the man himself. So another fastest from Raoul, 1:36.8. So he's living up to his name as the fastest guy in the league. So clawing more time out from Don Dotter, 18 seconds now. Made a bit of time over Dizzy, 2.4 up from him. Gaining a little bit more time through there. So the pack's starting to spread out a bit. So all the guys putting in some reasonable lap times, 1:39s, 1:38s. Raoul obviously with his 1:36s. And again, still putting in purple sectors. See what he does on this lap. Maybe a little bit loose around that last corner. So again, another fast one, 1:36.5. He's unstoppable, is Raoul. Although I will say it again, Potter McPot stopped you last week, mate. I was quite surprised when the lad said you were just going to instantly go and set up a lobby and practice. You started asking me for lobby settings, and then 20 minutes later you were offering my mate a race around the Berg, which you probably lost. But you are looking good tonight, my friend. Fastest laps left, right and centre from you. So Don Dotter just working his way through the back markers. Dizzy now losing a little bit more time to Don. So 2.7 the gap, was 2.4. Dory now 5.9 back. Big Les Kunu lost out in the pits. He's now almost 7 seconds back from Dory. So he was sitting in third. Unfortunately came out of the pits in fifth on the last stop. Baggy Snails making up a couple of places. Currently holding 6th place. Steve Scooby in 7th. Rear Wheel in 8th. Job in 9th. Stewie back in 10th. And West Ham Daz, we just catch him getting the chicane all wrong there. Getting reset. So a bit of a battle here between Stewie, Mac and Jarv. Closest battle on track at the minute. Stewie is losing a bit of time to Jarv there. Just called it back. So just 4 minutes remaining of this race. Raoul currently holding first place, has done for pretty much most of it. Also had fastest laps, about 6 of them. So currently with a 1:36.5, real good time from him. Don Dotter, he's had a real good race as well, currently in 2nd. Again, Raoul's pit strategy playing off for him with his 17-second lead. So Don Dotter in 2nd. 3 seconds back from him is Dizzy. We've got Dory in 4th. Again, pit strategies paid off for him, and Dizzy managed to jump Big Les Kun in the last pit stops. Big Les Kun in 5th, Baggy Snails 6th, Steve Scooby 7th, Rear Wheel in 8th, Jarv in 9th, Stewie now losing a bit more time to Jarv in 10th, and again West Ham Daz bringing up the back, staying out of the way for Dory Dory as he comes through. So back up to the front man, 17.5 second gap. Two laps remaining, 2.5 minutes, so 1 and a bit laps, but it's by time, not laps. So had a good race as Raoul. As I say, got fastest lap, so first on the grid, pole position. He's led this race from the start, apart from after the first set of pit stops. He came out in 2nd. Had about 4 or 5 fastest laps, and managed to work his strategy well enough to keep him in front. With a good old lead as well, 17.7 seconds now. Don Dotter managing to pick up 0.2 of a second penalty, and allowing Dizzy to catch up as well, so 1.4 back now, Dizzy from Don Dotter. With that gap increasing, we'll have to see if Dizzy can get it done. 1 lap remaining. This will be, will it? Let's see how far Raoul's around the track. He may get across the line once more at this rate. So on a 43 second at the minute. It's a tough one to call. He might get across the line, I don't know. That might be a little bit too far back. See though, it might go to 1 more lap. That could give Dizzy the look on Don Dotter. Less than a second gap between these pair now. But we will just keep an eye on Raoul. So no, not looking like there's going to be 1 more lap. 3 seconds to go. He's not going to cross the line before then. So this will become the final lap. So Raoul coming across the line, taking first place, dominating this race. A good bit of driving from Raoul there. Don Dotter managing to keep his 2nd place. So he managed to hold off Dizzy for that last couple of laps. So coming home in 2nd for Don. Dizzy pulling the handbrake across the line for 3rd. Big Les Kun now just coming around the last corner. He's managed to get into 4th place, so we were taking the place off Dory Dory. I don't know what happened to Dory Dory. Dory Dory now coming home in 5th. We'll just catch up with Baggy Snails coming through the last chicane. Around the Coca-Cola corner. To finish the race for Baggy Snails, so 6th place for him. Steve Scooby again just coming around Coca-Cola. Finishing the race off in 7th. So Stewie Mack's already crossed the line in 8th. Rear Wheel in 9th, and Jarv in 10th, with West Ham Daz bringing up the rear in 11th. So again, real good race for Raoul there. Dominant throughout quali, fastest laps, everything. So living up to his name there, Raoul. give him a well done. Where's he gone? Valenciennes. Who came second now? Come on, Don Dotter and Dizzy in third. So yeah, good bit of driving from all the guys there. Again, there's one more round to go of this series. That's next week. I couldn't tell you where it is. It will be the same time next week. But the track's being kept secret from us at the minute. So it will be another endurance race, 40 minutes, 20-minute quali. And that will be the series over. I think there's going to be a 1 week gap or a 2 week gap before the season starts again. I'll have to confirm that for you next week. But if you like what you're watching, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more. I am on again tomorrow night for me racing in the GTTCC leagues. I'll just jump out of here and go back to viewing my motor that I'm using. So yes, tomorrow night. I'm unsure whether to stream the quali or not, because I usually suck at quali, or just stream the races. We'll see. But if it'll either start at 8:30 for quali, 9 o'clock for quali, or 9:30 for the races. It's half an hour quali and then 2 races. First race is at Bathurst, so that's where quali will be as well. And the second race is at St Croix, Track B. Not my favourite of tracks, but you know, we'll see how we get on. So this is the beast I'm using for tomorrow night's racing. Livery I've chucked on there. I'm racing for, my team is Cat this year, but I've also got the Kika logos all over the car there. That's in relation to the 6-hour charity event that we're running on the 4th of August. So we're setting up this 6-hour charity race for Kika, which is a Dutch children's cancer charity. I will put links in the description below for the charity and the donation pages and the Just Giving page. There will be links in the description below for the P1 pages as well on Facebook. So if you like what you're watching, go give them a click and join, and maybe we'll see you on track next season. The guys are talking about sticking some of the leagues on as well. So get yourselves over, give them a like. Cheers Ewok, thanks for tuning in, mate. Yeah, get yourselves over to P1, give them a like. If you've got Gran Turismo and PlayStation, get yourselves over to them and we'll maybe see you on track. You might get commentated over, I might race against you, you never know. So that's going to be another stream over, people. I'm back on tomorrow night, like I say. It'll either be 9 o'clock or 9:30 for my races, driving this beast right here. They won't be quite as professional as tonight's stream. There might be a lot more swearing involved and cursing and heavy breathing and stuff like that, but that's to be expected because I'm behind the wheel. So yeah, tune in tomorrow night for that. As I say, 9 or 9:30. I'm unsure whether the VLN race is going to happen this week. It's kind of died a death a little bit, so that's the next gen VLN race that I commentate on Sundays at 6 o'clock. I don't know whether that's going ahead, but if you don't catch me tomorrow or Sunday, then I'm also back on Wednesday next week for the next gen versus MRC team versus team race. That is the final next week, coming from Circuit de la Sarthe, so that should be a good race. That's an enduro, that's a 50-minuter. So quarter of an hour quali and then 50 minutes for that. Again, stream over, people. I think I've said all I need to say. Click those buttons, click all the links, get your money out, donate to this charity, do the right thing. I'll see you soon. My name's darksmoka. I'm out of here.